Day in 2002.
Let's get an update on traffic as we go live to the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. Here's Chuck Rowe.
Thank you, Jeff. Still looking at that stalled vehicle on the 51 northbound before Glendale Avenue. DPS on the scene there. The HOV lane is blocked, and they're saying it's in a real bad spot. Traffic's coming in hot, so stay over to the right. Northbound 51 approaching Glendale Avenue. 202 Santan Freeway northbound at Baseline. The left lane still blocked with a crash there. Delays leaving Guadalupe. 101 Pima Freeway southbound at Indian School. There's a crash off to the right side of the off-ramp. A new wreck reported in Gilbert, Val Vista at Ocotillo Road. And watch for that motorcycle collision that has 83rd Avenue shut down north of Thunderbird in Peoria. I'm Chuck Rowe, KTAR News.
A high ozone pollution advisory in effect for Maricopa County through tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Sunny today with a high of 101. Tonight clear, the low 74. Right now in Glendale, sunny skies, 92 degrees. Weather's brought to you by Howard Air. Every day you get 3 KTAR News expansions at 8, noon, and 5. It's 15 minutes of commercial-free nonstop news, traffic, and weather brought to you by Sweet James. If you've been injured in an accident, call Sweet James. I'm Jeff Munn, and now we bring you our Without a Home Series Roundtable discussion, hosted by Arizona's morning news anchor Jamie West and ABC15 anchor Javier Soto.
As part of our coverage of homelessness in the Valley, we're bringing you a KTAR News Without a Home Roundtable, hosted by Jamie West of Arizona's morning news and ABC15 anchor Javier Soto.
Well, good afternoon. I don't say that very often. Usually it's good morning. Really, thank you for joining us for our special coverage of our week-long series, Without a Home. It's a KTAR special series on homelessness in the Valley. I am Jamie West, co-host of Arizona's Morning News, and I will be monitoring the roundtable discussion you're going to hear over the next couple of hours today, along with Valley favorite anchor Javier Soto from ABC15. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you very much for having me. This is a huge issue that I believe is beyond Phoenix, although the focus right now is on the zone and the cleanup of the zone. This is an Arizona issue, and we've been covering it extensively at ABC 15, and happy to join you here to this roundtable, on this roundtable, and speak with these minds who are going to add solutions in how we're going to fix this problem.
Right. We've got to find some solution for this, because it's almost like, and I hate to use the term perfect storm, but when you have an opioid crisis, when you have the highest inflation in the country, right? You have these crazy housing prices and rent going up astronomically over the past few years. I mean, even food prices, gas prices. We have the highest gas prices in the country. Some people just can't hang on. And that's just one of the contributing factors to where what we've become.
You bring it up perfectly, because this is a multifaceted problem. And I don't think there's one solution, but it's going to require a lot of people to get together. And hopefully some of the people who we are speaking with today are part of that group as we try to find a solution here.
So we are going to have mayors. We're going to have leaders of organizations that specifically help the homeless. We're going to have faith leaders. We're going to have people who were homeless at one time. We have a lot of people. And, of course, KTAR reporters who have been working on this special series that we've been airing all week here on KTAR, who have uncovered some really interesting information about what's being called a crisis. And I had a chance to go down to the Human Services campus in Phoenix last week. I haven't been down there in a while. And it was encouraging in the fact that any service that a person needs to get back on their feet, they can provide on that campus. They even have a U.S. Post Office, because a lot of the benefits and other correspondence that you receive, they need a street address. You can't use a P.O. box. So they use the street address, have a post office there at the Human Services campus, and then they have actual mailboxes or folders for people who need them, who need to get their mail at a street address, which I thought was really cool. There's a DES office. They're putting in an MVD office. You can't do anything without an ID. You can't apply for benefits. You can't get housing. So I'm very encouraged about all the services that are there. I'm discouraged about all of the people that are outside the gates of the Human Services campus that maybe aren't accessing those resources.
Correct.
So, and I know that you were actually, that area is called the Zone. I know you were down in the Zone visiting an artist studio, correct?
Yes. We've been covering this, as I mentioned, extensively and have been covering it for months. But one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit against the city of Phoenix resides right in the middle of the Zone. He owns Gallery 119. His name is Joel Copeland. And we went to get his take on the lawsuit as right before the cleanup started. And we walked into this gallery and we were blown away because all along his walls in his gallery is art that depicts his reality of living and being part of the Zone. And he walked us through each piece and explained how he came to that, what he saw. This was all stuff that he created through his memory and what he experienced. One of the stories he told us was one night, he also lives in a studio, he says one night he looked outside and he saw something right in the middle of the road. And he thought, what is that? What is that? Meanwhile, cars were flying by it at high speeds. And he says, as he started to look closely, he thought, dear God, that's a body. That is somebody. So he started to walk outside, hoping he could help. He says, as he got closer, somebody walked up and happened to touch what I believe was a blanket. And he says, up pops this woman, and she just starts running and screaming. And he thought to himself, oh, that's Elizabeth, because he's gotten familiar with many of the people who live there in the Zone. And he says, as bizarre as that situation was, he said, this happens all the time. He talked about extensive drug use. He talked about, and at one point he stopped me and he says, Javier, don't be fooled by this, that this is poverty and people who can't get back on their feet. He says, this is Arizona's biggest party. He says, whatever you want here, you want drugs, you want alcohol, you want sex. He says, it's all right here. And sadly enough, people actually come to the Zone at night when this is a huge party. He said, but to the other side of that, of talking about the drugs and the problems, he said there are people who cannot afford to live in a place anymore. He talked about an older couple that was walking down the street the other day. He says it's a husband and he was pushing his wife in a wheelchair, and somebody came out of nowhere and hit him with a 2x4 in the side of his head. And he says he was bleeding. He says there's a lot of violence. He says this is very problematic. And despite everything he's lived through the past 5 years, he says, I've tried to help a lot of these people. I have a heart for the homeless. These are my friends. These are people who I've become familiar with. And I just hope that in the solution, they do it humanely.
Javier, I know that there's so much more that we could talk about with your experience there. And one of the questions I know I'm asking, and a lot of people are asking, is where are the police? Well, we're going to ask that question from the city of Phoenix in the next segment. But first, I want to bring in KTAR reporter Taylor Tassler. She actually kicked off our series this week running down the numbers. And Taylor, you did an excellent job of breaking those numbers down. I was astonished to hear some of them. What did you find? What are like the two things that you learned about the homelessness situation and the numbers and the data that really blew you away?
Well, so I was really tasked with looking at Maricopa County. I talked to the Maricopa Association of Governments and CAS, and some of the things through looking at the data that MAG has collected, that from 2017 until now, through their point in time count, we call it the PIT count, homelessness in Maricopa County has raised by 70%. And they also have a quarterly trends report, which takes a more deep dive look into where homelessness is currently. And so for the month of March of 2023, there were 8,200 people experiencing homelessness in Maricopa County, and 15% of that population was experiencing it for the first time. So a lot of these people are experiencing homelessness for the first time. And we were talking earlier, another that kind of goes into experiencing it for the first time is the amount of seniors experiencing homelessness. When I was talking to the CEO of CAS, she called it the silver tsunami, which we've all heard that term used. And a lot of seniors are not able to afford the cost of their rent or their mortgage anymore because they're on a fixed income. And that was just shocking to me when you think of your own grandparents or maybe your parents, someone who's elderly and on a fixed income. That's not something you think. And I think this is a new phenomenon that they're seeing and has gotten worse over the past couple of years.
Taylor, thank you so much. Unfortunately, I was wondering, I'm like, are we going to have enough to talk about here? And this, we have so much to talk about. We're going to be doing it for the next, more than an hour and a half, because we have some great guests coming up too. Thank you again, Taylor Tassler.
Thank you, Taylor.
Including, it's one of the nation's largest homeless encampments. We're going to learn what the city of Phoenix is doing to clean it up, and also, how did it get to this point, right?
We're going to break down a timeline of how we got to this point.
You are listening to Without a Home, a KTAR special roundtable discussion on homelessness in the Valley, and we'll be right back.
Right now is a great time to start making smarter money decisions. Dave Ramsey here. Give the outside of your home some greatly needed curb appeal with Rhino Shield permanent ceramic coating. Painting your home with traditional paint means you'll have to repaint every 4 to 5 years, costing you more and more money. But with Rhino Shield permanent ceramic coating, you won't have to touch the exterior again for years. In fact, Rhino Shield comes with a 25-year warranty. Your home will always look like it's been freshly painted, guaranteed. No chipping, no flaking, no peeling, no kidding. If you're thinking about painting your exterior with traditional paint, please call Rhino Shield first for a free estimate and ask about their ceramic technology and its ability to reduce your cooling costs. Rhino Shield is perfect for the Arizona climate. Tell them Dave Ramsey sent you, then you receive 10% off the regular price. Call 855-487-4466 or visit rhinoshieldaz.com.
Maybe you have a big box advisor, but feel like your needs aren't being met. If that's the case, now could be the time to call Damon Roberts, Matt Deaton, and the team at Acute Wealth Advisors and take advantage of a complimentary second opinion. 480-680-6868. That's 480-680-6868. Or online at successinthenewretirement.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Acute Investment Advisory, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Acute Wealth Advisors, LLC.
I'm with Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Penzone. A lot of concerns about how law enforcement is changing, but you seem to embrace that change.
Well, I think if you really want to define who you are, you go into a circumstance and you work to make it better. We need to transition from this law enforcement to public safety mentality. It is still law enforcement, it always will be, but we have greater responsibilities in keeping our community safe, so we need people that are diverse in their skill set and courageous in everything that they do. I'm Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Penzone, and I'm offering you a career with purpose. Apply today at jobs.mcso.org.
Do you know what's vital for men? Getting your energy back. Vital. Feeling your best every day? Vital. Performing at work and at home? Vital. Find out how TRT can help your energy, muscle mass, and make lifestyle changes that last. Vital for men. New patients receive a free testosterone test. Go to vital4men.com today. It's vital for men.
If your AC is over 10 years old and you're dreading the inevitable replacement, fret no more. This month, Parker & Sons has state-of-the-art, high-efficiency heating and AC systems for $99 a month. That's just $3 a day. Wow.
$3 a day. That's less than a fast food cheeseburger.
$3 a day? I pay way more than that for a gallon of gas.
And with a yearly utility savings as much as $1,000, it pays to act now. Call Parker today at 602, the number 2, then REPAIR. Parker & Sons. We're not your average Joe.
Hey, it's Pat. Now, I'm not a big candy person. I've always preferred salty treats, but I completely understand what it means to feel like a kid in a candy store. When I walk into a Valley Toyota dealer, whoa, boy, there's just so much to choose from. Camrys, RAV4s, Tacomas. I feel like a kid. And I'll be honest, once or twice, Mrs. Pat has had to drag me out of there kicking and screaming.
Right now, get 3.99% APR financing for 48 months on your favorite Toyota, including best-selling cars like Camry and Corolla, or a versatile SUV like Highlander or RAV4. Even get 3.99% on the class-leading Tacoma, or get a great lease deal on any new Toyota. Visit your Valley Toyota dealer or valleytoyotadealers.com today. Toyota, let's go places. 3.99% financing with $22.57 per thousand borrowed for 48 months. Zero down payment if you qualify. Offers end 7/5/23. See dealer for details.
Would you like a higher price for your home? Go to 72sold.com. This is Jim Sharp, and 5 independent studies over the past 3 years show sellers who sold with the 72 Sold program average 8.4 to 12% higher prices than other homes sold in their local MLS. 10% on a $500,000 home is $50K more. What's 8 to 12% more worth when selling your home? And you can make this happen in any 8 days, whenever's convenient for you. Easy, fast, and it starts at 72sold.com. 72sold.com.
Is private student loan debt ruining your credit and your life? Do you need relief? Just go to whyrefi.com. How about a payment you can afford, a lower fixed interest rate, improving your credit score, and saving thousands of dollars? whyrefi.com. Whyrefi is not a debt settlement company, and we are locally owned. We even have a co-borrower release program. Low credit score? No problem. Just go to yrefy.com or call 888-YREFI45 and get your life back.
Early Warning Services seeks a senior software engineer in Scottsdale, Arizona. Telecommuting permitted to design, develop, test, and maintain software product applications. Position requires bachelor's plus 5 years progressive-related experience. Send resume to Early Warning Services via email to recruiting@earlywarning.com. Must reference job title and code SS-AN. Again, send resume to Early Warning Services via email to recruiting@earlywarning.com. Must reference job title and code SS-AN.
Beat the heat with refreshing deals at your nearest Bashas'. This week, value packs of USDA choice boneless New York steaks are just $5.97 a pound, limit 2. Make it a burger night with value packs of 80% lean fresh ground chuck for only $2.97 a pound, limit 2. You'll always find refreshing deals on seasonal produce like delicious red cherries on sale for just $1.98 a pound. And get heads of iceberg, romaine, and red or green leaf lettuce for only 88 cents a piece. Better deals, better flavors, better at Bashas'.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic. Now.
It's 12:30. I'm Jeff Munn. Here's our top story.
KTAR News. Focus on homelessness.
Phoenix is well known for its excessive summertime heat, but hot temps can be especially dangerous for the homeless. Jacqueline Edwards, the director of Maricopa County Human Services, tells Arizona's Evening News the county offers a number of options to help the homeless deal with the heat.
That includes daytime respite centers in partnership with the cities of Chandler, Mesa, Glendale, Phoenix, and Tempe, but also overnight heat relief at the Human Services campus in downtown Phoenix.
The county also provides transportation to the relief centers and heat relief kits that include water and sunscreen. More seniors are finding themselves homeless for the first time later in life due to a lack of affordable housing.
Deputy Director for the Maricopa Association of Governments, Amy St. Peter, tells Arizona's Evening News the Valley's Home is Where It All Starts initiative is working to create more diverse housing options.
It's a 34% increase among people experiencing homelessness who are ages 65 and plus, and we're seeing that because of really mainly the limited supply of affordable housing.
She says since 2011, the county has lost 86% of its rentals under $1,000 and 75% of homes for sale under $300,000. Heidi Hommel, KTAR News.
Our special series on homelessness continues all week. You can watch, read, and listen to more in-depth content on this issue in the KTAR News app on 92.3 FM and on KTAR.com/homeless, and our Roundtable program on homelessness in the Valley with Arizona's news anchor Jamie West and ABC15 anchor Javier Soto continues in just a moment. 3 people plead guilty in connection with the 2021 shooting of a Phoenix police officer.
3 people are facing prison time for helping the man accused of shooting Phoenix police officer Tyler Moldovan. Essa Williams' mother and girlfriend are among those charged. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office of Arizona, the guns they helped Williams acquire were not used in the shooting, but the 3 people are facing separate charges of making a false statement when purchasing a gun, helping with the false statement, and concealing a gun, which could result in several years in prison. Shira Tanzer, KTAR News.
Time for an update on traffic. We go live to the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. Here's Chuck Rowe.
Thank you, Jeff. Not hearing about any freeway lane blockages here in the Valley. However, north of the Valley, there's a truck fire in Yavapai County affecting the I-17 southbound. It's shut down at milepost 295 right around Lake Montezuma area. So if you're expecting someone coming down from Coconino County, that will certainly delay their travel. Now, we did have a stalled vehicle. That's out of lanes now. 51 northbound before Glendale Avenue. That's off right. 202 Santan Freeway northbound at Baseline Road. That crash off to the right as well. And a motorcycle wreck resulted in a closure at 83rd Avenue north of Thunderbird. Use 75th Avenue 91st or maybe the Loop 101 instead. I'm Chuck Rowe, KTAR News.
A high ozone pollution advisory in effect for Maricopa County through tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Sunny today with a high of 101. Tonight clear, the low 74. Right now in Phoenix, sunny skies, 94 degrees. Weather's brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Jeff Munn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
This is a KTAR News special without a home roundtable on the KTAR News app and 92.3.
Welcome back. I'm Jamie West, co-host of Arizona's Morning News on KTAR.
And I'm Javier Soto with ABC15. We are joined right now by Rachel Milne. She's the director of the City of Phoenix Office of Homeless Solutions, as well as Cleo N. Lewis. He is the CEO and founder of Cleo N. Lewis Ministries. He's a former Phoenix police officer who ended up addicted and experienced homelessness, has an incredible story that you have to hear. We thank you both for joining us today.
I think it's going to be an awesome perspective from somebody who once served as a police officer, was also experiencing homelessness, and somebody from the City of Phoenix who is tasked with helping find solutions to this problem. But first, I think we need to look at how we got here. And I know that ABC 15 has been putting together quite a timeline on this. Can you condense it a little bit for us, Javier?
I will. And it all starts back in 2005, and that's when the Human Services Campus started. That was back in 2005, and we're going to speak with Richard Cruz a little later on what they do, because they do some incredible work. But our court documents state prior to 2018, there were some limited homelessness in that area, but there were no tents or no semi-permanent encampments that we see now. Now, also in 2018 to 2019, court documents show the city changed its enforcement policy and decreased enforcement of criminal, health, and other quality of life statutes, and that allowed the zone to grow.
No, did you find out why that happened?
Yes. It all has to do with a case from the Supreme Court, and this is the Martin case. This is Martin versus the City of Boise, and from that case, the city misinterpreted what that case was, and so therefore were told that they could not enforce some of those rules with the people living in those encampments. Is that correct, Rachel?
Well, I'm not an attorney, I'll say that to start, so I'm not really comfortable talking about the case law. I'll just say we're at a point where we don't have enough shelter space for everyone experiencing homelessness, certainly not unsheltered people experiencing homelessness. And so that's really where we saw the increase in the people obviously coming down to receive services at the Human Services Campus, which houses our largest shelter in the state, CAS. But when that shelter is full and all of our other shelters are full, where else can people go?
You're exactly right, and that's where it started back then. So that kind of gets us to now, where we had the lawsuit against the City of Phoenix from some business owners, some residents who said back in 2020 they had approached the City of Phoenix with some solutions and trying to solve the problem as they saw the homelessness escalating in that area. And
I know we have a court order for the cleanup. July 10th is a deadline to at least make a good amount of progress on that. But why wait until a court order? Why? And I know a lot of people are asking this, Rachel. Why didn't you start sooner?
Sure, and I'll just say I'd really like to have people understand that the City of Phoenix did not wait until this court order in order to do something. The area around the Human Services Campus has been a very high priority for not only the City of Phoenix, Maricopa County, our entire homeless service system has been focused on this area for quite some time. I'll also say in 2022, really to address the unsheltered people experiencing homelessness within the region, but specifically around the campus, the city and its partners brought on 600 new shelter beds. We have over 900 in the queue right now, and it's all an effort to really address that emergency situation. It is not safe to be unsheltered in the city of Phoenix or anywhere in Maricopa County, whether it's the summer or not. It's just it's not safe. We have to do better. We have to increase shelter capacity. We have to help prevent people from becoming homeless in the first place, and we have to help people exit quickly into housing once they do.
And let me ask you this, and again, I commend you for what you guys are doing out there, because this is an enormous problem, and you guys are just scratching the surface. And when I spoke with Mayor Kate Gallego from the city of Phoenix a couple weeks ago, she explained, although right now the attention is on Phoenix, this is not a Phoenix problem. This is an Arizona problem. And she said she needs partners in this and is reaching out to other municipalities to step up.
That's because all of the services are centered in Phoenix at that Human Services campus. So people from other cities and other parts of Arizona happen to be coming to the downtown Phoenix area to get that help, correct?
Well, I'll just say certainly that's the largest shelter within the state of Arizona is CAS at the Human Services campus. There are 17 partners at the Human Services campus providing services, but there are shelters and services around Maricopa County as well that we partner with and that we work with. But certainly that is the largest and the one of the few places where you can walk up and receive services. Definitely.
Thank you, Rachel. Cleo, thank you for joining us as well, because I think you have an incredible story, the fall from grace, and then what you did with that experience to help your fellow man. And can you just give us just a brief description of what happened to you that put you in this position of helping the homeless?
Oh, wow. In the middle parts of 1980, so to speak, I was a career police officer, and the last thing that anyone could ever tell me is I would be homeless. But through a culmination of things that happened in my life, I had an undercover assignment that went completely bad. I was forced to use drugs. I ended up addicted, and I lost my job. I was imprisoned, and as a result of that imprisonment, I couldn't reestablish and get my life back together. And despite anything that I could do, I ended up homeless, in broken marriage, in bitter, heartbroken, and I ended up going to a VA program since I'm a veteran, and they told me, you're going to go to the Human Services campus, you're going to go check into CAS. And as a result of going through that veterans program, it was an intensive outpatient treatment program that was at the VA. I was able to start to recollect my life, but it started with a simple thing that a case manager did. She treated me with a level of dignity that caused me to grab myself and decide that, it's time to make some changes.
All right, we are going to get back to your story, and then we want some interaction between you and Rachel, somebody who's formerly homeless, somebody who's trying to find homeless solutions, and I would love to hear you two talk about what your challenges were, Cleo, what would have helped you the most, and how the city of Phoenix is better equipped now, or will they be better equipped to handle those challenges. We are talking to Rachel Milne, Director of the City of Phoenix Office of Homeless Solutions, and also Cleo Lewis of Cleo Lewis Ministries, who's a former Phoenix police officer who experienced homelessness. And what you're listening to is Without a Home, a KTAR special roundtable discussion. I'm Jamie West, along with Javier Soto, and we will be right back.
They say the kitchen is the heart of your home. Dave Ramsey here, and if your kitchen is outdated or downright dysfunctional, listen up. You need to call my friends at Trevec Remodeling and Roofing. They're Arizona's only remodeling company accredited by the National Association of the Remodeling Industry. Trevec is an award-winning design-build company, and their goal is to make your current home your dream home. Visit their showroom to check out their semi-custom cabinetry, luxury finishes, and get insight into design trends. Or attend an upcoming seminar to learn everything you need to know about the remodeling process, including budgeting. and get the details on their 10-day kitchen remodel program. Just like it sounds, they can knock out your remodel in just 10 days from tear out to completion. So go to Travek.com today and learn more. That's Travek.com or call 480-367-1171.
Every day connected, comfortable, reliable. Every day you count on power for everything from your smartphone to your air conditioning. At APS, we work around the clock to deliver some of the most reliable service in the country. We invest in infrastructure upgrades across Arizona. We prepare for storms and keep you informed with alerts as we work safely to restore power. Together, all of us can help make every day brighter. Find ways to stay safe and informed at aps.com/brighter.
Summer's here. We all want to look our best. And if you have stubborn fat that just won't go away, Bodify Cool Sculpting can get you there. Sarah Cazell, your sports anchor for Arizona's Morning News, here with Nicole, who went to Bodify for her cool sculpting experience. Why did you want to do cool sculpting? What led you to make that decision?
I have run over 100 marathons, and even despite all of my long distance running, I still could not get rid of the stubborn fat. I was going through menopause and I was looking for a solution.
So why did you ultimately go with Bodify?
I had received a referral from someone who had gone to Bodify, and they swore that they really did make a difference.
And are you happy?
I'm thrilled. It tightened up the front of my stomach and all around that area. I just felt like I could finally wear a pair of jeans and be comfortable again.
Bodify is Arizona's most trusted cool sculpting provider, so like Nicole, you should book your free consultation at freezemeaz.com. That's freezemeaz.com.
Cool Sculpting Elite is FDA cleared to treat visible fat bulges in 9 areas of the body. Some common side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling.
Who will dare to find a new way to think about energy? One that connects our lives like never before and creates a world where we can breathe easy. NewScale dared by making 24/7 carbon-free energy a reality with our Voyager SMR power plants. Let's see how bright the future can be when cleaner, safer energy is available to all. NewScale. Power to the world. Power for all humankind. Discover the future of energy at newscalepower.com.
At Shane Company, we believe everybody is made to shine. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Shining is not for a chosen few. Like a rare gemstone, each one of us was created under just the right set of circumstances. Your moments, your milestones, your love story, all deserve to shine bright. You don't need an occasion or an invitation. You and your life are the event. At Shane Company, we handcraft our jewelry with the greatest care and hand select the most beautiful gemstones so you can shine. So put on a pair of earrings that make your eyes sparkle. Wear diamonds that light up the room. Try on sapphires in every color of the rainbow. Give an heirloom that collects new stories with each generation. We're all made to shine. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Hey, this is Jim Sharp, a client of Asset Preservation Wealth and Tax, along with the president of Asset Preservation Wealth and Tax, Stuart Willis. Now, Stuart, I think people want a personalized experience, and I know you know they need one when it comes to setting up someone's financial future. So tell us about how each portfolio is invested at Asset Preservation Wealth and Tax.
Well, first of all, I think it's really important to make sure that the client's values are represented in how they invest, number one. Number two, we think it's really important to have a diversification, not just of your investments, but of different perspectives as well.
And that's why you use multiple money managers, right?
Absolutely. You don't ever want to have all your eggs in one basket. And at Asset Preservation Wealth and Tax, we believe that diversification of perspectives is absolutely crucial to a successful retirement plan.
Get your complimentary portfolio review with Stuart Willis and the great people at Asset Preservation Wealth and Tax. Visit assetpreservationwealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like your neighbor Jerry.
When we first started looking for different options, we went to the internet. Really, we did choose Galaxy, and definitely happy that we did. We first had our front porch and our pool deck done. Decided we loved it so much, we had them out about 10, 11 months later to finish up and do our back porch.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a 15-year warranty.
The crews at Galaxy were great. They actually cared about my property, very punctual, knowledgeable, and just a great group of workers.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings works for any area like patios, garage floors, driveways, and around pools.
I'm 100% satisfied. It's not slippery and it's not hot. I was very impressed with the product. It's amazing that I don't burn my feet and my 6-year-old doesn't fall.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com and remember to like us on Facebook, GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com. We are out of this world.
A KTAR News special presentation, Without a Home Roundtable, with Jamie West and Javier Soto.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening as we search for solutions to what's being called a homeless crisis in the Valley and across Arizona. And joining us right now, oh, by the way, seated next to me is ABC15 anchor Javier Soto. Thank you so much for coming in and being a part of this.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon to everyone.
We have with us Rachel Milne, the director of the City of Phoenix Office of Homeless Solutions, and Cleo Lewis of Cleo and Lewis Ministries, a former police officer who found himself homeless and is now helping people on the streets this morning. And Cleo, you were sharing your story about how you became addicted to drugs, ended up in prison, actually, and then once you had that record, had a very difficult time finding shelter and a job, and it was very tough for you. Now, what helped you the most when it came to getting off of the streets? Was there a specific service that was provided or that you wish you had?
Well, I had the benefit of probably, even in the worst situation, I describe myself as probably one of the worst people that ever needed resources. And I had probably the greatest need to get help. And what it is something has to kick in from the inside that says, now is the time, and I have to go for what I had at the time that I needed. I was at CAS for a year. Now, from the changes, they can do the same thing in less than 2 to 3 months. With what the City of Phoenix can do with their Office of Homeless Solutions, they can do the same thing sometimes that day.
And you are sitting next to the director of that office right now. Rachel, tell me a little bit. Now, you came from the Maricopa County office of, was it Homeless Solutions or?
I was actually with the Maricopa County Human Services Department. I was over their community and Housing and Community Development Division over there.
So you've been dealing with this situation for a long time.
Yes, I was 6 years there and now 1 year at the City of Phoenix.
And what are you seeing as your biggest challenges with trying to help people out of their situations?
So I think from our perspective, the biggest challenge right now is there are just so many people. The thing we're focused on primarily at the city is unsheltered homelessness, certainly. We know we need to spend some time on prevention services, and we know we need to spend some time on affordable housing solutions, which our housing department is on top of. But right now we're really focused on people that are in that crisis situation, people that need emergency shelter and need an indoor place to be. So that's one of our biggest challenges is creating more indoor places to be, especially going back to your question earlier, Javier, as we work to really help people outside the Human Services campus in that very large encampment.
So I think the big question right now, Rachel, for the City of Phoenix is as you approach that deadline of July 10th, you've done 2 cleanups already. I'm counting 70-something people who you've already helped. We spoke with the Human Services campus the day before you started that cleanup. They counted upwards of 800 people who were unsheltered in the zone. Can you meet that deadline? And the second question that I hear often is, can you house away this problem? If you move these people into shelters, hotels, motels, wherever you move them to, does that solve this issue that appears to be multifaceted?
Sure. So to answer your first question, the July 10th date, I believe that the wording is we have to show material compliance with that order by that time. And I'll just say, yes, we've done 2 engagement efforts where we've closed down blocks to camping that have been wildly successful with an 80% acceptance rate of when we are offering services such as shelter or treatment services. That's a huge acceptance rate. So we're very pleased about that. But we have been doing this work for quite some time. We started these enhanced engagement efforts actually back in December. So we did 5 of them prior to the 2 where we closed down blocks, and we saw equally as successful efforts there. So we are making material compliance. We are working our way. We do have to take our time and be really coordinated with other groups like Cleo's groups, with other nonprofit organizations, with our shelters to make sure that we are able to offer people in the areas that we're focusing. We'll make sure that we're offering appropriate services. And so to answer your second question, can we house away this problem? We have to get people indoors as a very first step. And then from there, we have to trust our partners and our nonprofits in this community, our faith community, to help people move on to the next step, which is ultimately their own housing. We have to do that. And this has to be a first step as people move into their own housing solutions.
Rachel, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being here with us today. I know how busy you are, especially with what we're dealing with, what we're talking about today with this roundtable. Rachel Nilde, the director of the City of Phoenix Office of Homeless Solutions with us. Also, Cleo Lewis from Cleo Lewis Ministries, who's helping people get off of the streets. We're going to hear more from him, as well as we have Mesa Mayor John Giles coming in with us after the break. So keep it here on KTAR. You're listening to Without a Home, a KTAR special roundtable discussion on homelessness in the Valley. We'll be right back.
It's Gatos, and I'm here to announce a revolutionary new weight loss medication proven to work. It's called Revilex from Red Mountain Weight Loss. Revilex includes the same FDA-approved drug found in Ozempic. But unlike Ozempic, the proprietary formula in Revilex reduces side effects, so you'll comfortably lose up to 15 pounds a month on their most flexible diet plan ever. As the leader in medical weight loss, Red Mountain is constantly looking for new and better ways to help people lose weight. And that's why they've developed Revilex. It's the latest breakthrough in medical weight loss, proven to help you lose weight. With Revilex, you'll enjoy a wide variety of foods, so you won't feel deprived while shedding unwanted pounds. With Revilex, you get faster results without the side effects of Ozempic. It's available only by prescription, and you can only get it at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Schedule your appointment now. Dial pound 250 from your phone. Use keyword Red Mountain Weight Loss. Tell them Gato sent you.
When it comes to electric vehicles, SRP has solutions that can help you put savings in the fast lane. Whether you've already made the switch and purchased an EV, or you're still exploring your options, SRP has money-saving programs and rebates you can plug into that help make owning and saving with an EV easier than ever. Let's find an EV solution that works for you at srp.net/drive.
Hi, I'm David Hastings for Hastings & Hastings. We are the Arizona Discount Accident Lawyers. If you've been injured in an accident, choosing the right attorney is critical to making sure you get everything you deserve. At the national or regional law firms, you're just a number, and you'll probably meet with a salesman. Will they ever even get to know you or take the time to find out all the critical details of your injury? Look up our competitors and see how many offices they have outside of Arizona. They may not even live here, so how can they give you great local service? It's important to be local. I practiced law in Arizona for over 40 years. I went to law school here. We're experts in Arizona law, giving you personalized representation. And we do all this while we still give you our discounted fee, which puts more money in your pocket, where it belongs. Hastings & Hastings, Arizona attorneys and discount fees for accident victims. It's about time.
Right now is a great time to start making smarter money decisions. Dave Ramsey here. Give the outside of your home some greatly needed curb appeal with Rhino Shield Permanent Ceramic Coating. Painting your home with traditional paint means you'll have to repaint every 4 to 5 years, costing you more and more money. But with Rhino Shield permanent ceramic coating, you won't have to touch the exterior again for years. In fact, Rhino Shield comes with a 25-year warranty. Your home will always look like it's been freshly painted, guaranteed. No chipping, no flaking, no peeling, no kidding. If you're thinking about painting your exterior with traditional paint, please call Rhino Shield first for a free estimate and ask about their ceramic technology and its ability to reduce your cooling costs. Rhino Shield is perfect for the Arizona climate. Tell them Dave Ramsey sent you, then you receive 10% off the regular price. Call 855-487-4466 or visit rhinoshieldaz.com.
Is private student loan debt ruining your credit and your life? Do you need relief? Just go to yrefi.com. How about a payment you can afford, a lower fixed interest rate, improving your credit score, and saving thousands of dollars? yrefi.com. YRefi is not a debt settlement company, and we are locally owned. We even have a co-borrower release program. Low credit score? No problem. Just go to YREFY.com or call 888-YREFI45 and get your life back.
Want a higher price for your home? I'm Jamie West. Listen to this. 5 independent studies over the past 3 years show that sellers who sold with a 72 sold program averaged 8.4 to 12% higher prices than other homes sold in their local MLS. 10% more on a $500,000 home is $50,000. How much more could you get for your home? The great news is that you can make it happen in any 8 days. It's easy, it's fast, and it starts at 72sold.com.
Most adults think you need $2, $3, or $4 million to retire comfortably. Damon Roberts, Matt Deaton, and the team at Acute Wealth Advisors know that's not necessarily true because everybody's situation is different. Call Acute Wealth Advisors and schedule a complimentary Morningstar portfolio analysis. 480-680-6868 or online at successinthenewretirement.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Acute Investment Advisory, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Acute Wealth Advisors, LLC.
KTAR-FM, Glendale, Phoenix. Arizona's news station. KTAR, on air, 92.3 FM, online at KTAR.com, and streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic now.
It's 1 o'clock. I'm Jeff Munn. Here's our top story.
KTAR News. Focus on homelessness.
A Valley nonprofit is providing mobile showers, laundry services, haircuts, and more to those experiencing homelessness. But they're also providing something that's rarely seen for those living in the streets, and that's hope.
Robert Thornton, founder of Cloud Covered Streets, joined Arizona's Morning News.
When they leave that day, I want them to know that somebody cares about them.
Thornton says it's a challenge to find the dollars needed to keep his services going.
For a year's coverage, it's a little under $400,000, and that's all on me, to find that money and raise that money. So we're always looking for donors, for corporate sponsors.
You can see more at cloudcoveredstreets.org. Jim Cross, KTAR News.
When it comes to the fight against homelessness, one Valley organization says the biggest effort is keeping housing open and under capacity.
We don't have enough shelter beds. We can keep families in their homes, and we can also save the people from experiencing the trauma that homelessness causes.
Shannon Clancy, CEO of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, tells the Mike Broomhead Show the problem comes in rising price of goods and housing, as well as shelters going over capacity. Our special series on homelessness continues all week. You can watch, read, and listen to more in-depth content on this issue in the KTAR News app on 92.3 FM and on KTAR.com/homeless. And stay tuned, our Roundtable Without a Home with Arizona's Morning News host Jamie West and ABC15 anchor Javier Soto continues in just a moment. 3 people plead guilty to providing guns to the man accused of shooting Phoenix police officer Tyler Moldovan. 2 of those charged are the suspect, Essa Williams' mother and girlfriend. They could face several years in prison each for lying while buying a gun or hiding a firearm. Father's Day isn't a happy day for everyone. It can be a painful reminder for some dads who don't feel like they're doing their best.
Northern Arizona University and the Rehabilitation Center Crossroads are helping dads with substance abuse and other mental health disorders become better fathers.
We created Dad's Club, which is the 5-week parenting program, to provide them or to teach them the knowledge and skills about being a parent.
Associate Dean Oatley Rogers with NAU explains 1 in 8 children have a parent with substance use disorder. She adds the voluntary program teaches skills such as time management, communication, and goal setting. Colton Krolak, KTAR News.
Let's get an update on traffic as we go live to the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. Here's Chuck Rowe.
Thank you, Jeff. Still seeing a bit of slowing downtown on the I-10 eastbound through the tunnel. There was a crash right at the exit to the tunnel before 7th Street that just cleared, but watch for delays starting back before 7th Avenue. Also on the 101 Price Freeway southbound at the US 60 in Tempe, a crash just cleared. A little bit of slowing there as you approach that transition. Now 107th Avenue at Buckeye Road. Just hearing about a crash in Avondale. 83rd Avenue still shut down north of Thunderbird between Thunderbird and Acoma. Take 75th Avenue or 91st Avenue instead. And watch for a serious crash in Surprise Bell Road at R.H. Johnson Boulevard. I'm Chuck Rowe, KTAR News.
A high ozone pollution advisory in effect for Maricopa County until 9 p.m. Tomorrow evening. Sunny today with a high of 101. Tonight clear, the low 74. Right now in Phoenix, sunny skies, 95 degrees. Weather's brought to you by Howard Air. Weather replace or repair. Call Howard Air. I'm Jeff Munn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
As part of our coverage of homelessness in the Valley, we're bringing you a KTAR News Without a Home Roundtable, hosted by Jamie West of Arizona's Morning News and ABC15 anchor Javier Soto.
Good afternoon and welcome to our special coverage of our week-long series Without a Home, a KTAR special series on homelessness here in the Valley. I'm ABC15's Javier Soto. I'm joined by KTAR's Jamie West. And we just brought in Mesa Mayor John Giles, who was just talking about the success that they're having in some of their programs there in the city. And we continue to be joined by Cleo N. Lewis of Cleo N. Lewis Ministries, a former police officer who experienced homelessness.
And when Cleo walked in today, after greeting him, I said, "How are you doing?" And he said, "Great, I helped another family." This man is out and about every single day looking for people he can help and using the connections that he's made to get them some help. Tell me about what happened today.
Well, today I was at a heat relief center, and what that normally is we're just handing out bottles of water to people that come by. And I found out that the Phoenix police had encountered a family, and they tried to refer them to another agency to get them housing or a hotel, and that didn't work out. So they sent them to the heat relief center because they knew that there was 3 of us there working together, collaborating on what else could we do other than passing out water bottles. So we talked to the family, gave the kids some teddy bears, and it's surprising that we're running into families and seniors, but we're seeing a lot of them, and we're having success placing them based on the simple thing that we know where the services are, and we're applying those services. So we was able, I'm going to put the family into a hotel. We have a Project Connect event that's run by the Human Services Campus that's going to be in Sunny Slope tomorrow, where all of our support agencies are going to be there. We're going to get them placed tomorrow, and as a result of that, we don't know if we can do this day turned great.
I mean, even the littlest things. I saw on one of your Facebook posts that somebody had donated shoes for a family.
Yes.
Something as simple as that. I mean, that can lift their spirits, gives them a little bit of hope, puts good shoes on their feet, and it really helps a lot.
Yes, when you're homeless, you're dealing with all of your norms have crashed, and there are no new norms. And just the idea of someone saying, "I'll help you with a night of lodging. I'll help you with a meal. I'll help you with even soda pop. I'll give your kids a teddy bear or clothes." That makes an incredible difference, because the loneliest thing that I felt was it was just me. And when the rest of the community is responding, you feel like you're not by yourself.
And I think Mayor Giles can speak about that community because they formed their own community in Mesa and had a lot of success. Mayor, if you can talk about the two programs that are really benefiting the homelessness, community court and off the streets.
Oh, thank you, Javier. Yeah, we started taking this very seriously, launching our own strategic plan to address homelessness prior to the pandemic. And so back in 2018, we inaugurated the community court program because we knew a lot of the folks that were experiencing homelessness in the community were finding their way into our court system. And we felt like we were really, a lot of times, just convicting and charging people with the crime of being poor. And so I spent my professional career as an attorney, and I'm very used to this adversarial court process where the prosecutor comes in and fights with the public defender, and hopefully justice results from that. We turned that whole model on its head. And so now when someone experiencing homelessness is cited into the court system, into the community court, they are referred there. There are pretrial meetings where the prosecutor and the defense lawyer and the social worker and the judge all sit around and say, hey, Joe's coming in at 2 o'clock. What are we going to do? How's he doing? How are we going to get him out of this treadmill that he's on? So that's been very successful and very proud of that. And then after the pandemic, we had obviously a lot of concerns about the health of this population. And so very appropriately, we followed the model of other communities and figured out how are we going to get homeless people in a safe environment. And that's what launched the Off the Streets program. So that was in May of 2000. So we're coming up on 3 years. I've been really surprised in a positive way at the success that we've seen in this program. What it's been to this point is we rent 85 up to 85 rooms a night in an East Main motel room, and
not taxpayer money.
No, this is well, it's federal
or not City of Mesa taxpayer money.
Correct. It's been COVID relief money, and that was the purpose. Is you have an at-risk population. How are you going to prevent that population from being exposed to the pandemic? So this is a wraparound services program, and 4 out of 5 of the individuals that are receiving services there are either children, women, or seniors. A lot of families. So if you were to visit this facility, you'd be struck by it's not that the stereotypical homeless man that's taking advantage of these services, and it's very much wraparound services. So they are taken from their motel room to locations where they get counseling on substance abuse, if that's appropriate, or workplace or work skills. And we've had a 75% success rate in this program where people transition into not back to the street, but into more supportive housing.
And Mayor, how did they adapt? I think that's one of the questions out there that I heard from Joel Copeland from Gallery 119 when he said that oftentimes people are taken off the streets, they're given a shelter, they're given a roof over their head. However, they can't adapt from the streets because, as Cleo once said and just said moments ago, there are no norms when you're out on the street. So how do you adapt into a facility?
A structured facility. A structured life, right. Yes.
Well, I think that goes to the importance of having wraparound services be a part of the emergency response to someone in homelessness. Absolutely, we want to get them off the streets, and we don't want to, here in the Ninth Circuit, which includes Arizona, there's the legal standard is that you cannot enforce urban camping laws unless you have an emergency bed to take people to. And one of the things that's a priority in our community is we do want to stay as far ahead of this as we can and avoid what you see when you visit, the coast or a lot of big cities in the United States, which is this, ubiquitous tent encampment on every piece of public property. So for us to do that, we have to have those emergency beds. But our goal is to have wraparound services tied to those emergency beds so that we can experience the type of success that I described to you earlier.
A couple of questions for you. With what you are starting to come up with some data about who you are serving. You were telling me you're seeing a lot of children. Cleo, you were saying that you're running into a lot more families and seniors. What is the average age of a child that you are helping out in Mesa?
That's I guess, wonderful and depressing side of this is, again, we are seeing a lot of children. We're able to provide services for a lot of children. A lot of, like I say, families are what we're experiencing for the most part. The average age is 8 years old, and the average age of the adult is 45 years old. So that's kind of helps paint a picture. But again, 4 out of 5 of the people that we are serving are either seniors or women and children.
And what are the major causes of homelessness from the people that you're serving?
That's a question that we ask when we take them into this program. And this is something that surprised me that I've learned recently. A lot of times I think correctly we see a strong relationship between substance abuse and addiction and homelessness. And that absolutely is true. But in terms of causes for homelessness, when we ask the individuals that are coming into this program, nearly 90%, it's either an unsafe environment that they're leaving, a domestic violence or being kicked out of the house, for other family disputes, financial and employment reasons, and medical reasons. Those three issues create about 90% of the cause.
We have about 30 seconds. Drugs, surprisingly, not what they're listing there. You said something interesting about that.
But what I've learned recently is that addiction oftentimes follows becoming homeless as opposed to being the root cause of homeless. So absolutely, mental health and substance abuse are huge issues, and that's really, we have to tackle those. But I think it's a misconception to think that's what's driving people into homelessness.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. We're talking to Mesa Mayor John Giles, by the way, and Cleo Lewis from Cleo Lewis Ministries. Thank you for spending so much time with us, Cleo. And Richard Cruz, the program director of the Human Services Campus, is going to be joining us also. Should the homeless have a choice whether or not to continue living on the streets? We are going to talk about that next.
Hey, folks, here's the deal. When you get married, you become a team, and that team should last.
Because we believe in our military, we believe in our soldiers. Always think a veteran.
It was one of the guys on the crew that moved me was a veteran.
Yes.
And you could see it in him. The discipline, the self-discipline, the attention to detail, all of those qualities that we admire about people in the military, they carry that through with you guys because they did all of that for me too.
Because we believe in them and they want to believe in us. I love what I do. I love moving. At the end of the day, I just love to help people and care for them. If you're a veteran, come work for us. And you're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it. One of our veterans, Brian, he is an amazing guy. He was in the Navy, and he just does a phenomenal job. Every day, Brian, how's it going? It's going great. And I just love his mentality.
If you're a veteran and you want to work for a great company where you're respected for what you do and your service to your country has been respected, make a good wage for an honest day's work, movingteam6.com. Spell out the word 6, movingteam6.com.
This is a KTAR News special without a home roundtable on the KTAR News app and 92.3.
And I am Jamie West from Arizona's Morning News, and joining me is ABC15 news anchor Javier Soto. We're having such an incredibly important and interesting conversation with so many of the leaders addressing the homeless problem that we're having here in the Valley. And I have learned, I don't know about you, Javier, but I have learned so much. And one thing that I have learned is how much effort is going in from all sides, from the private sector to the public sector to the faith sector, to try and find solutions here. And still, with all the help that's available out there, we're dealing with what we're dealing with.
And that basically speaks to the enormity of this problem.
Right.
And like Rachel Milne said earlier, we've been working at this for a long time, but you have so many organizations partnering and helping. Everybody is just overwhelmed, and it's too much.
It is too much. And joining us right now is Cleo Lewis from Cleo Lewis Ministries. He is a former Phoenix police officer who also experienced homelessness and now is helping the people out on the streets right now. We have with us Mesa Mayor John Giles, who is talking about the success his city has been having with some of the programs they're doing. And also now joining us is Richard Cruz, who is the program director of the Human Services Campus, which is right there in downtown Phoenix.
Ground zero.
It is ground zero, right?
Absolutely.
And so thank you, Richard, for joining us. Mayor Giles, what are some of the things that your city is doing that you think would be worth other cities taking a look at?
Well, I have a lot of respect and admiration for what's going on in downtown Phoenix, and certainly Mesa does not have this figured out, but we are trying really hard, and I think it's important again that we take a regional approach to this. For years, we've let Phoenix, bear the brunt of this, and as the central city, and as folks have become homeless in other parts of the valley, they end up in downtown Phoenix because that's where the services are. And so all of the communities in Maricopa County have to own this. We all have to find what we can do to be complementary and help one another and realize that we all need to be part of the solution. So that's what we've done in Mesa. We talked about the community court program, the Off the Streets program, where we have our own strategic plan for homelessness, and there's things that we need to be better. We have some holes still in our safety net. Transitional housing is something that we need to increase in the city of Mesa. So we're working with a new leaf at the East Valley Men's Shelter there at the Country Club in the River Bottom to increase transitional housing. We're also putting out an RFP for other nonprofits to help us develop more of that type of housing that helps us, find a place for people that are making progress in their life. They're not service resistant, and we need to move them out of that emergency shelter into a less restrictive environment, but they're still not quite ready for maybe affordable housing. But, it's a continuum of going from step A to B to C. And so we have a great chart, and we're making sure that those charts are actually services that we're able to provide.
And it's interesting to note, too, that the cities themselves can't bear the burden of this. It's taking a tremendous effort on the part of nonprofits and the community to partner together with the city, right?
Right. I think everybody has to ask themselves, what can we do? For example, EVIT, a great technical high school in Mesa, they are constructing student housing for the aging out foster kids in our community. That a lot, as you know, statistically, that's a group that's very much at risk for homelessness. And so I think lift where you stand. Look at the opportunities in your area of influence to be of assistance here.
Yeah, that foster care system is a whole nother issue unto itself. When they turn 18, they're handed a bag with their belongings and basically told to go. I want to turn my attention to Richard. You said you've been at the Human Services campus for 3 years now. How have you seen the problem escalate?
So I got there June 1st of 2020, so right in the midst of the pandemic. And the whole world is different in that particular space. But what we've seen is with the rising costs to live in the Metro Phoenix area, we're definitely seeing at the same time homelessness increases, and that's because we've changed the conversation on who is homeless. And what I mean by that is that Phoenix was largely a place where what you would experience when it comes to homelessness was like this stereotypical, maybe it's addiction, maybe it's mental health, maybe it's, but it's the bottom, right? And what I'm getting now is I'm getting calls from families that are living in their cars, right, where outreach workers are having to ask the question, do I deal with the chronically homeless or do I deal with this population that just became homeless, right, that may not be on anybody's count because they're functioning day to day in society, but then also having this conversation then where I'm getting calls from principals about teachers who are living in the park, right, or are living in their teacher's lounge where they just found out about this, but they don't want anybody to know, right? Like, so it's a very different conversation. On top of that, then you've got this swelling population of individuals. So 3 years ago, you've got roughly 250 people outside of the campus unsheltered in the peak of the summer, right? Now, 3 years later, that number is 810 plus the 900 or so, well, the 700 or so people that are sheltering day in and day out on the campus. So the numbers are just higher than they've ever been.
We only have about a minute left, and I do want to ask that question that we were asking earlier. Do you think the homeless should have a choice whether they want to live on the streets or they need to be housed?
I think you get a choice. And so if you get a choice in terms of where you want to live, why doesn't everybody else get a choice? Now, in the same vein, we can acknowledge that there are safety conditions that also exist within that, but America's based on choice. And so if it's based on choice, then we can't just say that people should be restricted in that particular way.
All right. That's fair enough.
We are going to break. We will continue this conversation. You're listening to Without a Home, a KTAR special roundtable discussion on homelessness here in the Valley. We'll be right back.
Is private student loan debt ruining your credit and your life? Do you need relief? Just go to whyrefi.com. How about a payment you can afford, a lower fixed interest rate, improving your credit score, and saving thousands of dollars? whyrefi.com. Whyrefi is not a debt settlement company, and we are locally owned. We even have a co-borrower release program. Low credit score? No problem. Just go to yrefy.com or call 888-YREFI45 and get your life back.
Would you like a higher price for your home? Go to 72sold.com. This is Jim Sharp, and 5 independent studies over the past 3 years show sellers who sold with the 72 Sold program average 8.4 to 12% higher prices than other homes sold in their local MLS. 10% on a $500,000 home is $50K more. What's 8 to 12% more worth when selling your home? And you can make this happen in any 8 days, whenever is convenient for you. Easy, fast, and it starts at 72sold.com. 72sold.com.
Did you know that 20% of all video game players are people with disabilities? Hi, I'm Chris Rodriguez, President and CEO of Ability 360, where we provide programs and services to support the independence of youth and adults with disabilities. This 4th of July, we're hosting our inaugural Independence Cup Rocket League esports tournament, and it's free to play. Just text ABILITY to 411-923 to sign up or donate to the event today. Thanks for supporting Ability 360, where every day is Independence Day.
Message and data rates may apply.
This month's KTAR Community Impact Spotlight focuses on Ability 360 and their continued efforts to provide programs and services to support the independence of people with disabilities. This July 4th, Ability 360 is hosting the inaugural Independence Cup Rocket League tournament, and it's free. To learn more, text ABILITY to 411-923. KTAR News is proud to shine the Community Impact Spotlight on Ability 360.
Message and data rates may apply.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coating and their transformation, like your neighbor Mike.
Well, the local company that we used first was highly recommended by people in our neighborhood. We did not know until after it didn't work on our floor. It just peeled up like a cheap suit. And so my wife says, we got to do something. And so she started looking around on the internet and she found Galaxy.
Lots of styles to choose from. 4 times stronger than epoxy and a 15-year warranty.
We got Galaxy out here. They got here at about 8 o'clock in the morning and they finished up at 6 o'clock that night. Other than having a beautiful garage floor, you couldn't tell they were here. Just did a wonderful job on it.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings works for any area like patios, garage floors, driveways, and around pools.
Still looks fantastic, and anybody that visits our house, that's all they want to talk about. I mean, they just can't believe how nice the garage floor looks.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com and remember to like us on Facebook, GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com. We are out of this world.
Hey, it's Mike Broomhead announcing a revolutionary new weight loss medication that's proven to work. It's called Revelex from Red Mountain Weight Loss. Now, Revelex includes the same FDA-approved drug found in Ozempic. But unlike Ozempic, this proprietary formula in Revelex reduces side effects. You can comfortably lose up to 15 pounds per month with the most flexible diet plan ever. As a leader in medical weight loss, Red Mountain is currently and constantly looking for new and better ways to help people lose weight. That's why they developed Revelex. It's the latest technology and a medical breakthrough in medical weight loss, proven to help you lose weight. With Revelex, you'll enjoy a wide variety of foods. You won't feel deprived while shedding unwanted pounds. With Revelex, you get faster results without the side effects of Ozempic. To find out more about Revelex, pick up your smartphone, dial pound 250, and use the keyword Red Mountain Weight Loss. Do it today. You won't regret it. Pound 250, keyword Red Mountain Weight Loss.
Arizona homeowners, if you're shopping for contractors or service providers to help you with repair, maintenance, or remodeling of your Arizona home, and you're not shopping at Rosie on the House, I'm sorry to say the best you hope to find is second best. Rosie on the House, since 1988, giving out over 1 million successful contractor referrals. Don't settle for anything but the best of the best at rosieonthehouse.com.
And heard Saturday mornings 8 to 11 on 92.3 KTAR.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic. Now.
It's 1:30. I'm Jeff Munn. Here's our top story.
KTAR News. Focus on homelessness.
Phoenix is well known for its excessive summertime heat, but hot temps can be especially dangerous for the homeless.
Jacqueline Edwards, the director of Maricopa County Human Services Department, tells Arizona's Evening News the county offers a number of options to help the homeless deal with the heat.
That includes daytime respite centers in partnership with the cities of Chandler, Mesa, Glendale, Phoenix, and Tempe, but also overnight heat relief at the Human Services campus in downtown Phoenix.
The county also provides transportation to the relief centers and heat relief kits that include water and sunscreen. Troy Barrett, KTAR News.
When it comes to the fight against homelessness, one Valley organization says the biggest effort is keeping housing open and under capacity.
We don't have enough shelter beds. We can keep families in their homes, and we can also save the people from experiencing the trauma that homelessness causes.
Shannon Clancy, CEO of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, tells the Mike Broomhead Show the problem comes in rising price of goods and housing, as well as shelters going over capacity. Our special series on homelessness continues all week. You can watch, read, and listen to more in-depth content on this issue in the KTAR News app on 92.3 FM and on KTAR.com/homeless. And stay tuned. More of our Without a Home Roundtable with Arizona's morning news host Jamie West and ABC15 anchor Javier Soto continues in just a moment. 3 people plead guilty in connection with the 2021 shooting of a Phoenix police officer.
3 people are facing prison time for helping the man accused of shooting Phoenix police officer Tyler Moldovan. Essa Williams' mother and girlfriend are among those charged. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office of Arizona, the guns they helped Williams acquire were not used in the shooting, but the 3 people are facing separate charges of making a false statement when purchasing a gun, helping with the false statement, and concealing a gun, which could result in several years in prison. Shira Tanzer, KTAR News.
Let's get an update on traffic as we go live to the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. Here's Chuck Rowe.
Well, Jeff, we were watching a crash in Yavapai County on the I-17 southbound at milepost 295, right around Lake Montezuma. They had the freeway shut down for a while there. Now it's just the right lane that's taken away, so stay to the left to get through there. An earlier crash cleared I-10 eastbound coming out of the tunnel. There is a wreck being reported now in Chandler Boulevard east of Dobson Road. 107th Avenue northbound lanes are blocked at Buckeye Road in Avondale. And still that closure in Peoria, 83rd Avenue shut down between Thunderbird Road and Acoma Drive due to a motorcycle crash. I'm Chuck Rowe, KTAR News.
A high ozone pollution advisory in effect for Maricopa County through tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Sunny today with a high of 101. Tonight clear, the low 74. Right now in Phoenix, sunny skies, 96 degrees. Weather's brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Jeff Munn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
A KTAR News special presentation, Without a Home Roundtable, with Jamie West and Javier Soto.
And I am so glad you are joining us. It has just been a fascinating conversation with so many of the leaders and community people that are just trying to help find solutions to what we're facing with homelessness in the Valley and across the state right now. Without a Home, a KTAR special series on homelessness in the Valley is what we've been bringing you all week. I am Jamie West. I am the co-host of Arizona's Morning News on KTAR. And joining me is ABC15 anchor Javier Soto, who just has been bringing so much to the conversation. I'm really glad you're here with us.
Thank you very much. And, the amazing people we've been joined by have really added to this conversation, an important conversation.
And Jocelyn Wilkinson has stepped in now, joining Mesa Mayor John Giles and Richard Cruz, the program director of the Human Services Campus in Phoenix. Now, Jocelyn, you are the, I'm going to try and say this, statewide capacity building director at the Arizona Housing Coalition.
Yes.
What is that?
So the majority of my work is doing stuff like this, speaking at engagements, talking about the Arizona housing crisis, talking about the work that we're doing at the coalition to bolster some of those conversations around the barriers that we're seeing and why there's such a lack of housing supply in Arizona. Being a part of listening and advocating for and building that housing stock in legislation. So our efforts are advocacy, and so that's what I do. Yeah.
There are so many. Oh, I'm sorry.
When you look at the point in time count
Yes.
that just was released for 2023, 9,642 people experiencing homelessness. How does that make your job harder?
So, and I'm sure most of the panelists have talked about the increase we've seen in Arizona, which is just completely overwhelming for our sector. And I think what makes this a crisis is that I don't think we were fully prepared. We need more shelter. We need more housing. We need innovative legislation passed to address the housing supply decline that we're seeing. We're 200,000 units short across the state. So I think this amplifies where we are in addressing it and the need for housing, right? We know the solution is housing, right? Like that's the solution to homelessness. But we can reach that solution through many different avenues, and we have to be creative. We have to have brave people at the table to open up those pathways to get folks housed.
I just want to throw out these stats real quick from the Maricopa Association of Governments. I learned today that since 2011, there has been an 86% reduction in rentals under $1,000 a month. 86%. And 75% fewer homes are available under $300,000. Now, I realize that's in the past 12 years, right? So that's a good time span. But when you think about what you can afford on a salary, when you're adding the inflation with gas prices and food prices and utility prices, how is a person supposed to survive with shelter? It's surprising that it isn't even a higher number of people on the streets.
Those are the right questions to be asking.
A lot of the apartments that were largely low income that you could just get into, right? Since, even in the last 5 years, we put fake marble countertops and shiny appliances, and now those apartments that were under $1,000 are now over $2,000. But nothing's different in the space. It's just a matter of we made it a little bit shinier, right? Meanwhile, lives are a lot less shiny. They've gotten tarnished, right? And so we have to figure out, like, what is it that we are going to do to create more affordable housing stock? You have to replace housing stock.
And one of the things Jamie and I talked about is you said Section 8 housing vouchers are no longer accepted as much as in the past.
Right. Who are we talking to about
we
that?
were talking with Taylor.
Taylor Tassler about that.
Yeah,
yes. And now one person, they were given what?
40 sites to contact.
About getting housing.
Who would accept a Section 8 voucher. Mm-hmm. They reached out to 38. All 38 said no until they got to the 39th. And they made a connection somehow because they were from Chicago. The person they were speaking with was from Chicago, and that's how they were able to get in.
So persistence.
Well, not even persistence. To think about this, if a voucher is at the market rate, and if what's actually happening in market is well above market rate, then they may not accept your voucher because your voucher is not covering everything that it was meant to. Right.
Uh-huh.
But that's still an indictment on the society when it comes to that, because we've priced people out of market.
Richard Cruz, who you're hearing right now, is the program director of the Human Services Campus in Phoenix. Mayor John Giles, are you seeing the same type of situation in Mesa? Are you hearing the same types of things where, affordable housing is just not there?
Yes, I think that's one of the words we've always embraced as a city. Mesa has always been considered more affordable than a lot of other communities, and so and we certainly are. We want to preserve that, and the cities are where you get those Section 8 vouchers. So we've been very engaged, for the last several years in trying to recruit more landlords to say, please say yes when someone shows up with a voucher. And it's hard to fault a landlord, if the voucher is for X number of dollars and the market rate is, X squared. So the federal government has been increasing that, but they haven't been able to keep pace, particularly because we know
where's the incentive, right, for the landlord?
Right. They really need to have a really tender heart, to take less than they can get from someone for a market rate apartment. But that is part of what you're seeing the cities do. We're out recruiting landlords. We're doing landlord open houses and doing all that we can to incentivize that. The city has been trying to sweeten the deal as much as we can to entice landlords to do that. But if you're a landlord, please consider that, because we haven't been able to. Phoenix, as you know, has the highest rate of housing inflation in the country. So it's been particularly hard here.
And Jocelyn, we have 1 minute, but how do you bridge that gap?
So there's lots of, I shouldn't say lots, but there is landlord incentives that are taking place to some of these topics we're talking about with Section 8 voucher holders. There's landlord incentives that I know the city of Phoenix is giving landlords who will take on a Section 8 voucher. So they'll give them an incentive of $1,000 to the landlord if they'll take a voucher. And I know Home Inc. they have Threshold, which is also a landlord incentive program to incentivize landlords to take these subsidized vouchers to get folks off the streets. And I think those conversations need to continue to happen. We need to build, maybe landlord coalitions. We talked about earlier this being a community effort. We have to get everybody involved to fix this issue. And landlords are the key component to getting folks housed.
And we're going to talk more about this when we come back from a break, because we really want to talk about how affordable housing can become a reality. There's a lot of talk about the need for it, but how do we actually make it a reality, right? Because the problem is happening right now. Mayor John Giles from Mesa, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. It's just been such an interesting conversation to hear what the city of Mesa is doing and the success you're having and your willingness to share that with other cities as well.
Thank you so much for shining a light on this topic. Thank you so much for shining a light on this topic. I think, like we talked about earlier, raising awareness, getting landlords to feel like they need to be part of the solution is so important. So thank you for the time you've dedicated to this.
Thank you, Mayor.
Richard Cruz, Program Director of the Human Services Campus in downtown Phoenix. Do you have time to stay on for a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Then stay right here because you're listening to Without a Home, a KTAR special roundtable discussion on homelessness in the Valley, and we are going to be right back.
Are you tired or even embarrassed of your outdated kitchen? Do you dream of a space that is beautiful and functional? Hi, this is Susan. At Trevec Remodeling and Roofing, we take pride in delivering top-quality remodels that are tailored to your unique needs and style. From kitchen and bathroom remodels to complete home renovations, our team of experienced professionals will work closely with you every step of the way to ensure your vision comes to life. If you're in need of a quick kitchen refresh, we offer a 10-day kitchen option. With our efficient process, you can have a beautiful new kitchen in just 10 days. But it's not just about speed. We also take great care to ensure quality finishes and expert craftsmanship in every project. Contact Trevec Remodeling and Roofing today. Call us at 480-367-1171 or visit us at trevec.com to schedule your in-home consultation. Trevec, together building dreams for more than 20 years.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Arizona Breathe-Free Sinus and Allergy Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with the Arizona Breathe-Free Sinus and Allergy Centers. Call 602-635-7302. 602-635-7302. That's 602-635-7302.
Know the signs of low T? Low sexual desire, low energy, fatigue. It can be natural as we get older. Vital for Men has helped thousands of men across the valley get their energy back. Not just to feel better. It's vital for husbands, dads, coaches, and men to feel their best every day and perform their best at work and home. Find out how TRT can help your energy, muscle mass, and make lifestyle changes that last. We are Vital for Men. New patients receive a free test that is vital for you. Visit vital4men.com.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Chad, for the Gatos and Chad Show. I want to talk about American Vision Windows. Bill and Kathleen's story is amazing. Bill, of course, local, right here, grew up here, went to school here, and he understands what it's like to live in Arizona. American Vision Windows is incredible. They are revolutionizing the home improvement industry one customer at a time. And this time of year, they understand it more than anybody else. You're trying to save money. You're trying to make your house more energy efficient. Have you thought about dual-paned energy-efficient windows from American Vision Windows? You can reduce your energy bills. So if you got those old wood, aluminum, or even vinyl windows, do this. Go to AmericanVisionWindow.com today and start enjoying saving money and feeling the well-insulated home you deserve. Plus, American Vision Windows are custom fit to your needs and the style of your home, and they've got the best of the best. Right now, save up to $1,500 plus zero interest and zero payments until 2025 when you buy windows plus doors. For all offers, call or see the website, AmericanVisionWindows.com. On approved credit, offer expires 6/30/23, ROC number 267599.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you pass away without a living trust in the state of Arizona, the government could decide who gets what from your assets. This could cost your estate tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees and be tied up in probate court for years. Your spouse could even be forced to move out of the home you once shared, and your children could get stuck with a huge tax bill from your 401k. But you could avoid this by getting a living trust from RJP Estate Planning, a trusted name in Arizona that's helped over 35,000 families since 1995. And for a limited time, if you're at least 60 years old, you can save 65% on a living trust.
To take advantage of this 65% savings, call RJP Estate Planning at 480-896-9597 by June 15th. Protect the people you love. Call 480-896-9597. That's 480-896-9597.
A KTAR News special. Without a Home Roundtable. Here's more with Jamie West and Javier Soto.
And I'm Jamie West, co-host of Arizona's Morning News, sitting next to Javier Soto from ABC15. And this has just been such an incredible conversation about the situation in the Valley when it comes to homelessness.
Beyond that, special coverage of our week-long series. A special coverage of our week-long series, Without a Home, a KTAR special series on homelessness here in the Valley. It's been completely fascinating, and hearing how deep this problem is with so many people trying to solve it. We continue to be joined by Richard Cruz. He's a program director of the Human Services Campus, as well as Jocelyn Wilkinson, statewide capacity building director at the Arizona Housing Coalition. And just into the newsroom to join us right now is Jim Cross, a reporter for KTAR, in my opinion, one of the best reporters we have here in the state.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Now, off the air, we were having a conversation. You were talking to Richard from the Human Services Campus about solutions to the problem, and is it something that, which problem are we need to focus on which problem we want to solve, right?
Yeah, what problem are we addressing? And the question was, are we just moving that problem out of sight of most people with what they're doing right now?
So everything that happens on Madison also happens on Lincoln. And what I mean by that is that you have mental illness on Madison, you have mental illness in Paradise Valley on Lincoln, you have drug use in Madison, you have drug use on Lincoln, you have hoarding on Madison, you have hoarding in Paradise Valley. We just like to, it's prettier, right? When it comes to that. So what we have to understand is that we're really dealing with an issue that is an assault on the human psyche. And so are we really addressing this problem when it comes to what's happening in homelessness because we acknowledge that the human condition needs to be served? Or are we addressing this problem because it makes people uncomfortable to see folks existing in that level of human trauma? And I think it's much more of the latter than it is the former. The city of Phoenix has been a great partner for us with the Human Services Campus when it comes to how we do these enhanced cleanup engagements. But at the same time, if we're not doing what we need to so even if we got 800 more beds tomorrow, right? You just said in the last segment that there was 9,000 individuals currently experiencing homelessness. So if we move the 800 people out, that doesn't mean that 800 people don't move back in, right? We have to do more. We have to do housing and we have to do healing, because otherwise what happens is that individuals get housed, but because whatever the societal scar is that put them into homelessness in the first place has not been healed, then they end up back in homelessness, either because that's where their community is, so they're most comfortable there, or because that issue never got addressed, so they go back to where it was that they were last accepted, which was on the streets.
So what part is not being addressed that needs to be addressed most importantly?
Well, one is, like I said, it's the housing component. We need more housing. But in addition to that, then you need the wraparound services that are really wrapping around the individual and what they need to support them in the midst of that, while simultaneously acknowledging we need better policy, because homelessness isn't about individual decisions that got people into that space. It's about bad policy or unjust policy that has created a space where homelessness is possible. Right. And now are we ready to clean it up? Because when we look at Madison, I'll be really quick about this. When you look at Madison, you can see Madison from the governor's office. You can see Madison from the supervisor's office. You can see Madison from the mayor's office. So just as much as now we're doing the work to clean up that particular problem, we also watched the mess accumulate all along the way from those same spaces.
Jocelyn, yes. Can we get your comments on this? Because as somebody who's working with the Arizona Housing Coalition, we cannot get enough housing built overnight to solve this problem quickly. Mm-hmm. What's a realistic timetable?
So now the estimate, just in our current landscape, taking developers to come in and build affordable housing is anywhere between 3 to 5 years. So again, stressing the importance of removing some of the red tape for developers to come in here and build quickly. We know the supplies and construction is gone up. And I feel like the light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't know if this has been brought up, but the $150 million influx into the Housing Trust Fund will help some of those developers come in here and get those tax credits to build affordable housing. So I'm hopeful with that deposit that we'll see some real movement happen, and then also. That coupled with legislation passing and zoning, those two together, we could really see some increases happening in a short amount of time.
And I love the optimism.
And Jim, I mean, this is exactly what you covered in your story.
Yeah, I mean, almost universally. I mean, there's a lot of things driving homelessness. But again, almost universally, the one thing that kept coming back, lack of affordable housing, rents are sky high. As she mentioned, we're years away from being built up. I mean, it's not, the thing that I took away a lot from this is how complex this is. I mean, housing is way more involved, all of it, than I thought before I went into the story. It's not a matter of you can go out and build thousands of homes and have them all up in a year from now. It takes time. Contractors are dealing with everything from hugely expensive materials. But if affordable housing was the number one thing I heard from everybody I talked to, that's a real issue, and it's not going to be solved overnight.
And one thing we've talked about also is it isn't just affordable housing, but any housing, even in the the upper price range, will help as people move up into those homes. They vacate housing that may be more affordable to somebody who's trying to get into a home.
Yes, it makes it more competitive.
Go ahead, Justin.
Just as long as the housing stays affordable. So as people move up, if the housing that they were in now moves up also, then it makes that housing where people are having to reach and jump to be able to get to it.
As you mentioned, that's when the landlord comes in, he puts fake countertops and throws a little paint on the place and then
now
jacks up that price. Yeah.
Right. Now the place that was $1,500 is now $3,500, and you're like, wait a second, what just happened?
I'm astonished about, especially, we have interns that come in here and work at the station. You do as well at ABC15. These are college age people who cannot afford, with their first job, to rent an apartment. I mean, we're talking not just one roommate, but maybe 3 or 4 roommates just to be able to pay that rent and the utilities. It's incredible.
We're talking, and also the teacherages. So building housing in schools, on school ground for teachers to have housing. So
you're going back to the 1800s now, right?
It's such a huge crisis that's happening that we have to have innovative practices. We have to do things that we've never done before to fix this. We can't continue to use 2019 policy for a 2023 housing landscape. We have to be bold and brave to meet this need in a way that we've never met before.
Well said. I wish we had more time.
We need much more time.
We do,
and we'll
we are going to have
tomorrow.
it tomorrow. Yes, we are.
will.
We're going to do this again tomorrow, beginning at 12:15. Another roundtable on homelessness on KTAR and ABC15, and we are going to bring in some state lawmakers, some state senators, to find out what's happening at the state level. Who else do we have on our list for tomorrow?
For tomorrow, we have Lisa Glow, the CEO of Central Arizona Shelter Services, as well as Pamela Williams, founder of Journey Out of Homelessness.
Thank you so much for listening to KTAR as we take a look at solutions to homelessness.